Welcome to ASEAN Biz, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm your host, Chia, and together with me is Chong.
Chong here.
And we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world which affects ASEAN countries.
In this brand new edition, we bring you 4 segments: the current business updates, our durian main story, funny business moment, and health is wealth.
Let's start with our current business update. Our hot topic recently is the Chinese stock market crash. Eric, have you heard of this story recently, isn't it?
Yes, it was a very big happening since I think it's about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it crashed like within a short span of time of a few days. The index went down quite a bit.
Yes, and from the news photographs, you can see housewives scratching their heads, carrying their heads.
Yeah, I think housewives are one of the most affected lots.
Yeah, so in fact, as the saying goes, when you see housewife going to the stock market, it's the time for you to get out.
So with taxi drivers and cobblers, you know, when people like that who are not really good at financial stuff, they also go into the stock market, then you know something bad is going to happen.
Yes, and they treat the stock market like a casino.
Yeah. So Eric, can you tell us how bad the crash was?
Yeah, since June 12th, it's a crash about 5,000 points, and it's less than 1 month, it's down 30% to above about 3,500 points.
Yeah, in fact, 5,000 points in the Chinese stock market is quite high.
Yes,
in fact, very high.
Very high.
So now at 3,500 points, people still think that it's a bit high.
Right. So they are expecting it to go lower. Yes, and the few stocks exchange in China actually have a total capitalization of about 10 trillion US dollars. It just lost 3 trillions in the crash.
Wow. Before
the crash, the capitalization was only 1 to 2 trillion.
Oh, can you imagine? That's a lot of money lost, right?
Lost, yes. And,
housewife have really lost a lot of money.
And funny, where does all the money comes from?
It was originally 1 or 2,000 points in the Chinese stock market, and it was created from thin air when it went up to 5,000 points, right?
So it's just like QE, it keep on creating money,
Yeah, yes. So it's like what they call zero-sum game. From left pocket to right pocket. Somebody wins, somebody loses.
So the loser were actually feeding the winners.
Right. So those who won earlier, probably they have lost back.
And I think the main winners are the stock market.
Institutional
players where they
fleecing off all the uncle aunties money,
and also their commission for the trades.
Right, yeah.
Yes. So the GDP for China is actually about 5 trillion.
Yeah, just now we said how much money was lost?
About 3 trillion, yes.
That's quite a big percentage.
It's almost like, 60% of the GDP.
Right, scary, right?
Yes. And the foreign investor actually owns only 1.5% of the stocks in China's stock market.
So despite the big hoo-ha in the US and Europe, they actually didn't lose much,
and it actually does not affect foreign investors.
Yeah, so they didn't win much and they didn't lose much.
So the only stocks that are affected are China's stocks.
So the Chinese people actually won and lost among themselves.
So it's still a zero-sum game. It's from left pocket, right pocket. So which means the money didn't actually flow out. It actually flows back into the open market.
But in the process, Eric, I believe whenever there's financial turmoil or things like that, the poor people are actually the ones who are the victims.
Yes, they will get poorer.
Yeah, because they lose more money and the rich people keep getting richer in the process.
Yes, that's true. Because the poor, as they lost the money, they will have a result in less spending power.
Yes.
And those small trades or medium trades will have less sales. And less travel.
We can imagine that if the Chinese people are not so rich as before, for example, $3 trillion gone down the drain from the market.
Yes.
So they can't buy all the luxury stuff and handbags and whatnot like they can usually, isn't it?
Yes. So all the demands of this luxurious item will actually took a dive.
So that means people selling branded stuff from Europe probably will have
will suffer some losses.
yeah, or rather
some drop in businesses.
definitely there are a lot of Chinese tourists, like they say, they go to US, even go to ASEAN countries like Malaysia or Singapore, and they do their shopping. So you can expect less business from these rich Chinese shoppers.
But to my observation, I think the rich Chinese are not that much affected. Those who travel, those who tourists, when they go out to do their own shopping, I think they are not affected much. They will still shop like mad.
Yeah, if they still have all the money.
Yes.
It's a poor guy that's buying less.
Yes, there's no middle class and the poorer guys, okay?
But surprisingly, gold price also dropped, which means that actually the rich people are buying less gold.
Yes, and gold price actually dropped from 1,002 to 1,150 recently. Yes, and
gold was at the high of 1,006, 1,007, even up to 1,009 at one time.
And as of quite recently, it's actually drops until 1,000 something.
Right, yeah.
It just dropped below the 1,001 mark. But it slowly climbs back again. And this actually affects Australia, which sells a lot of gold to China.
Yes, you can imagine
and does a lot of business with China. So the Australian's economy is slightly affected by the Chinese stock market as well.
Right. Yeah. Whatever happens in China will affect Australia. But we are talking about ASEAN. So basically, Eric, do you think the ASEAN countries will be affected by what goes on in China when they have a crash there in their stock market?
Well, I would say that to a certain extent, yes, because as we can see, a lot of consumer products are coming from China.
Right. And China looks like our Taiko or big brother around this region.
And a big consumer of raw materials.
Right.
And a lot of raw materials are coming from ASEAN countries, like copper, iron ore.
So is it correct to say that businessmen in our region, in ASEAN, should be more careful lately and observe what is happening in China?
Well, I would say being a businessman, whether in ASEAN or around the world, we should always practice cautious.
Right.
But during the recent turmoil in the stock market, it actually helps to be more cautious. And I would say that the production rates in China actually drops. The demand for raw materials also drop. That's why it's affected Australia, because Australia actually export a lot of raw materials to China.
Right now, China is the second largest economy in the world, right?
Yes.
And recently, there's a report that says in terms of purchasing power parity, China is already the number one economy in the whole world. So right now, it seems like if Big Brother is having some problem with their stock market, I'm sure the whole world in some way will be affected, right?
Yes. And can we imagine the situation when the Chinese are going on an austerity drive?
We are not too sure about austerity drive, but I believe the Chinese government is taking steps to cool off the economy a bit. There's too much speculation in many things like properties and bank interest rates and things like that.
And all these are actually skyrocketed, which makes the average Chinese have very much high difficulties to survive in their own country as well. Right? So most countries will buy stuff from China instead of selling stuff to China. So they won't be affected badly. But tourists from China may be slowed down.
Right. Okay. Eric, on a different note, I noticed that China recently has been quite tough in their anti-corruption stance, with the new president coming down quite hard on corruption. I think ASEAN countries should take a look at China and probably learn from their example.
Well, I would say we are going towards a more advanced society. Okay, and more advanced societies will not tolerate corruption. Right.
Are you sure?
Well, to a certain extent. Because when
Greece is a very highly developed country, and their problems recently are a result directly from corruption.
So a lot of roots of the problems are based on the suffering of the people.
Yeah, that's why I say we should learn from China recently, because their premier and government is coming down hard. Yes, basically they realize that China, like countries like India, China, are very corrupted traditionally, and it's not really doing the people good.
Yes, and this corruption's practice actually only benefited the cream of the society.
Right, in every country.
And it's actually those poorer people are paying for their sins.
So, and the economy as a whole, especially the man on the street, is badly affected.
Badly affected because when corruption happens, it only have a lopsided economic benefits.
And when you talk about country as big as China, not only the internal citizens are affected, it will affect, send ripples around the world, where people doing business with China will also be affected.
Those people who are exporting to China will also be affected. Well, okay, we will take a short break now.
Right.
And we will be back with our main story for today. So stay tuned, guys. Don't go away.
Welcome back. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, and our Durian main story today is Top 10 Money Scams in ASEAN Countries, Part 2. But before we bring you our main story, Eric is going to share with us his funny business moment. And the title of his story today is Free Advice.
Yep. Oh, Andrew, I think, I believe that you have attended quite a number of social functions.
Yeah, definitely.
Mingle around with lawyers, mingle around with doctors.
Yeah, all types of
all
friends
professionals,
and right?
And people tends to ask a lot of questions regarding their professions.
Well, they never asked me for any free advice though so far.
Yeah, because you are talking about money. So to them, when they talk to you, they see money signs. So it's a different story. But I believe they did ask you for stock tips.
Definitely.
Because a lot of people, when they relate financial,
is free advice.
They relate it to the stock market. Well, this particular incident happens. A doctor and a lawyer are talking at a party. Their conversation is constantly interrupted by people describing their ailments and asking the doctors for free medical advice. After an hour of this, the exasperated doctor asked the lawyer, "What do you do to stop people from asking you for legal advice when you are out of the office?" "I give it to them," replied the lawyers, "and then I send them a bill." Wow. So the doctors is
Sounds
shocked.
fair enough.
Sounds good enough, but agrees to it and give it a try. The next day, feeling slightly guilty, the doctor prepares the bill. When he goes to place them in his bill box, he finds a bill from the lawyer, which is spoken to the other day at the party. So actually,
the lawyer actually sent him
the bill for that particular advice.
For giving free advice.
Free advice. It's not free. He thought it's free. Okay.
Not bad.
Right.
Right, guys. Thank you, Eric, for that funny business moment. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, the only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm your host, Andrew Chia, and together with me is Eric Chong. And we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world that involves ASEAN countries. The title of our Durian main story today is Top 10 Money Scams in ASEAN Countries, and it's Part 2.
Part 2, right. And
earlier we discussed five scams.
5 methods of scamming,
which are very popular in ASEAN countries, including countries like Malaysia and Singapore, and even Thailand. So today, we are going to go through on scam number 6.
Number 6.
Okay.
Right.
If you have missed our first 5 scams, you may refer to our previous edition on ASEAN BIZ.
Yes.
So today we are going to talk about the first scam is gold investments. Eric, I'm sure gold investments are very popular.
Very popular
in Malaysia, right?
Malaysia, because everybody feels that gold is something solid where you can hold. No matter how you run away, I still have the gold bar with me.
Right. And there are numerous gold scams and gold companies and gold investments in Malaysia alone.
And it's not new. It has been happening for the past 20 years.
I'm sure there are equally number of gold scams in Thailand or Indonesia or Singapore. I'm sure that there are scams like that. Okay.
I would say
Eric,
plenty.
how does this work?
Yes, in one particular one, all of us have heard of Geneva.
Yeah, Geneva is the most famous gold scam or rather gold company in Malaysia.
But there are hundreds of Geneva like this around with many variations. You know, all these schemes are scams promising you unrealistically high returns for investing in gold. They are usually pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes.
Right.
And how this actually works is that they will promise you a certain percentage of returns every month.
Mm-hmm.
But when you purchase the gold, it's actually at a 30% premiums.
You're paying a higher price.
Higher price than the market price, at least about 30% higher than the market price. But people willingly pay it because they felt that I pay 30% more, but my capital put out is more. So if I'm getting 3% per month, I will get more.
Right. Eric, have you actually been to and sat down at a gold investment talk where they brief you how and why you should invest in gold?
Yeah. I've been through once, and it's actually from what they're saying and the facts they back up is very convincing.
Yes. Yeah? First of all, I believe they will tell you that money is something very fake.
Money is paper and it's very fake and it holds water.
Yeah, it's not even worth the value is the money is printed on. Yeah, the paper.
Yes. So
gold is something that is valuable. For thousands of years. It can maintain its value.
Yes, and you can hold on to it whether the country went bust or the company went bust. You still can hold on to the gold.
And it's one of the best ways to protect yourselves against inflation,
yes,
right?
And they will keep on emphasizing that the gold is pure gold.
Mm-hmm.
And actually nobody knows whether it's how pure is the pure.
I mean, Eric, let's assume it's pure gold.
It's pure
and
gold.
Give them the benefit of
doubts, right? So after the 6 months, they said you need to renew the contracts. Okay, but you have the options to take the gold or take a certificate.
Mm-hmm. Which means you leave the gold.
You leave the gold bar for their safekeeping, and then you take the certificate, but you earn another 1.5% extra without taking the gold. Wow, a lot of people will actually go for it.
Yeah, after all, you take your gold and put in the house.
Yeah.
There's nothing much you can do.
Nothing much you can do, and it might get lost, or the thieves might go into your house to steal it.
In fact, Eric, coming to think of that, gold has got only one use. That is for staring at it, right?
Staring at it, and actually there are some industrial use.
Right. But basically the general use is for staring.
Staring at it and jewelries. There's nothing much you can do with gold. But
it's for those soft metal.
For those industrial use, they have an industrial version of gold.
Yeah, gold is a superconductor.
It's a superconductor that can actually manufacture it to a certain extent.
Right.
So people will actually fall for the renewal without taking the gold, and they go for the 1.5% extra.
So which works out to quite a lot of money.
Quite a lot of money.
So the more you invest and put into that company, then that offers you the return.
Yes. After a few months, you felt that, the return is good, the company keep paying me, I top up the money.
Right.
And I top up again. And actually, I have a friend who topped it up until about a sum of close to 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And once the company busted, all the 3 million is down the drain.
Eric, remember at one time we had this experience of talking to a lady from a gold company, right?
Yes, I believe it's the same company.
Yeah, she must be from Geneva.
Yes.
And she was trying to convince us, Eric and myself, to invest in that company. Can you remember how the conversation went, Eric?
Well, it actually went like that. Is that investment must be positive.
Right. You must think positive.
You must think positive when you invest.
Don't think about losing money. Don't think about the company cheating you. Don't think about whatever problems that can arise once you have placed your money.
But a word of caution, fans or listeners, investments has nothing to do with positivity or negativity. It's what the situations
you got to be realistic, right?
You have to be realistic about the situation.
It doesn't mean that you think positive that you will get your returns.
It doesn't mean that you stare at it. I want return, then the return comes to you. It's not that.
eventually, I still remember part of conversation was that she liquidated her property investment.
I think she liquidated about 3 condos or 4 condos.
And plunged all her money from the property investment into gold investment.
And today, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Now, today, we only know one thing. That company has been closed by the government of Malaysia. And nobody can receive any more returns from that company.
No more returns. And the boss of the company are nowhere to be found.
They are supposed to be arrested.
Suppose. Okay, let's keep it that way. Okay, now Andrew, let's move on to the next scam.
Which is basically roughly the same scam as the previous scam, which is a Ponzi scheme.
Which is just the same structure, but using a different vehicle.
Right. Okay. The earlier one uses a gold. But
More
actually
physical.
You can use anything else other than gold. It's the same principle.
Right. Ponzi schemes are simple investment schemes whereby the returns for a later investor is paid by the money invested by an earlier investor. Okay, so if you all get the meaning of this, which means that the first person who comes in...
You mean the sucker pay the sucky?
Sucker pay the sucky.
Oh.
Okay.
Does that give you any confidence?
Okay. So no investment is actually done and no product sold.
Wow.
Ponzi schemes involve a wide varieties of products like seaweed farming, gold mining, king of gamblers, aphrodisiacs, and internet investment, international cell phone service provider, education, New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq or Hang Seng IPO, all the jazz. You name it, they have it.
Okay, Eric, let's spend a few minutes to go through one by one briefly what all these scams are about.
Okay,
I think we have some time to do that, right?
We should have a bit of time.
Okay, let's go through seaweed farming. Eric, do you know anything about this scam?
I heard of it. I, in fact, attended one. Okay, they promised a very good return, saying that now they found a new species of seaweed that actually can cure many illnesses and many diseases.
And has many health benefits.
And they are going to farm this on a big scale. So you can actually buy by the lot size. So one lot size, they are talking about maybe 1 acre or 2 acres of lot size. Then based on that value, you just put in your money and they promise you a returns in 2 years or 3 years.
So basically, you are investing in a business.
So-called business.
It's a very lucrative business where they farm the seaweed and you can easily sell it. There's a overwhelming demand for such a product. It can cure certain illnesses and have health benefits.
Most of the time, the locations of these farms are by the seaside.
Right.
Quite far away, in areas that you don't know about it.
Never heard before. But they will take the photos of all the workers wearing uniform of that company. Working very hard
to plant your seaweed.
And to harvest it.
And if you invested in their scheme, okay, they can actually take you to visit the farm.
Right, yeah, and you'll be very convinced because they actually charter a plane for you to fly to that location to look at how they do seaweed farming and how your money and your investment is put to good use.
So they will show you, this plot belongs to you.
Right, yeah. Sounds fantastic, isn't it?
Yes.
And they tell you why you can get a very high return on your investment.
And they will show the same plot to 100 people, 1,000 people.
Okay. So basically the idea is that you're investing in something that's very viable, a good business.
And very tangible.
And you start getting greedy, right? Because the investment, the return is
then
high.
One lot size is not enough. You buy 2 lot size, 3 lot size. Then the things goes on and on. And
so
then
after a couple of months or a couple of years, they will have what you call standard storytelling.
Storytelling, typhoon hit the beach.
Right, yeah. All your investment is gone.
It's gone. Now if you want to redo the thing, we need more investment.
Right, yeah.
More cash injection to rebuild the place.
Not only your investment is gone, their investment is also gone.
Also gone. They said
so don't feel sorry for yourself. We are also hurt by the typhoon or tsunami or whatever disaster. So there goes your money and my money. Okay?
But the most interesting one is the aphrodisiac ants. And I think this happens in China.
Yeah, the guy posts for a photo with the premier or the president of China. So everybody has got a lot of confidence, assuming that the government is behind that project. But actually, the government has nothing to do with the project.
Things that goes back to the same way. And we will take a short break now and be back with our story shortly. Stay tuned, guys, and don't go away.
Welcome back. You're listening to ASEAN Biz, and our Durian main story today is Top 10 Money Scams in ASEAN, Part 2. Before the break, we discussed a few of the money scams that have been around in ASEAN countries, including Malaysia, for some years now. Besides these scams, we now bring you more scams found in ASEAN countries. But before that, let's take a short break to get a health tip from Eric Chong, our health and fitness consultant. His health tip story for today is water versus sports drink.
Okay. Andrew, it's very common that a lot of people who exercise or did exercise straight away will go for isotonic drinks.
Yeah.
You know, they felt that isotonic drinks is the healthy drinks, unlike soft drinks.
It balances the ions in your body.
Yes, but then on the flip side, there's this particular dietitians from universities of Illinois. Okay, he actually did studies, and in most cases, he felt that water is a better choice than a sports drink when you are thirsty.
Right.
And what she's found out that sports drink shouldn't take the place of regular water intake. Yes.
Well, that sounds like bad news for the isotonic drink seller.
Yes. And yes, people will feel that sports drink will help hydrate you, but the average healthy child, adolescents, and adults doesn't need the extra carbohydrates and calories that comes with consuming these sugary beverages, she explained.
Mm-hmm.
And because they contains carbohydrates, sports drink can be beneficial during long workouts. People who exercise for 1 hour or more should consume between 30 grams and 60 grams of carbohydrates. The body's main energy source.
We need carbohydrates.
We need carbohydrates because as you go for endurance sports, you need carbohydrates.
Give us strength, right?
Yes. To help maintain the blood sugar level, most sports drink contains 4 to 8% of carbohydrates. Consuming these beverages during exercise that lasts more than 1 hour can aid in hydration and help provide needed energy for hard-working muscles. Brooks states. She offers the following advice to clear up confusions about what to drink and when to drink it. Choose water while sitting on the couch, while doing a 3-mile run or bike ride, or while sitting at your desk studying or working.
That means when you are not so strenuous.
Not so strenuous, you didn't go through
water.
Just go for plain water. Choose a sport drinks when you are physically active for more than 1 hour, exercising in extreme environments such as severe heat or humidity, the cold, or at high altitude. If you have not had a high quality pre-workout meal to sustain your physical activities, or if you are a wrestler or participate in any endurance sports that require high energy intake, then you go for a sports drink.
Otherwise, stick
to plain
H2O.
water. H2O is still the best.
Right, great. That's wonderful advice. Welcome back. You are listening to ASEAN Biz, and our Durian main story today is Top 10 Money Scams in ASEAN, Part 2. Okay, let's continue with our stories. The last 3 scams on our list. The first one is scam number 8. Darling, we are destined to be together.
Wow, that sounds like very tempting.
Yeah. Usually the guy who is saying darling is from Nigeria.
Okay.
Oh.
Have you been racist?
It's nothing to do with race. It's basically a country.
Yeah. And basically it's just a statistic that shows that most of these cases happens originated from the
Nigeria or some African countries. Like Kenya. Surprisingly, Kenya is also listed as a country with a lot of scams.
Yes. And I think the most highest statistics are still from Nigeria.
Right? But I heard somewhere I don't know whether it's true or not. There's a country in Europe called Romania, which produces a lot of professional con artists.
Yes, and most of these Romanians are the
Is that true, Eric? Have you heard of this?
Yes, I heard of it, and I actually read about it. And some of the research and the statistics shows that most of them are doing online scams. And they are fishing for informations like your credit
I'm not
card.
too sure about Romania, but I'm sure Nigeria, a big percentage of the population is involved in scams, and is like quite a normal profession in that country.
It can be a profession by itself because you will be just sitting down there thinking about scams and how to do things.
So the citizens from that country, if they move over to ASEAN countries like Malaysia,
so it's a transfer of technology.
Right. They will continue the profession in that country.
Yes. And with today's advanced technology, it doesn't matter where things originated from.
So how do they actually do this scam called Darling, We Are Destined to Be Together?
Well, firstly, this particular Nigerian could be a drug pusher, okay, will befriend you
on the internet.
And after months of courting online, they finally meet up. By the time, you wouldn't mind if he's a black or white.
Yeah, you would have fallen in love with him.
You would have fallen in love with him because the way they carry themselves, the kind of flowery words they put into
very charming words, very caring.
Yes. Yeah. This particular black man is ultimately sweet talkers, promising you paradise in no time. All you need to do is take something for them past the custom. And in most cases, I would say it's drugs.
Wow.
And quite a number
dangerous.
of young people actually got caught with it, and they actually can't pull themselves out of it. So, listeners, please be careful. Right? And
be careful when befriending African or Nigerian friends over the internet.
Anybody over the internet.
Right. Especially when you can't see how they look like.
You don't know their culture. And I would say nowadays a lot of youngsters does not have this kind of so-called protective.
They are not so smart when it comes to
making friends in this way. So they will be the victims of this kind of cases. And some of the parents will have trouble watching over them, and even have trouble advising them against it, because they feel that the world should be very peaceful. To them, their perception of the world is very peaceful. Nobody harms nobody.
Yeah, innocent. In fact, Eric, not only for girls, I believe this applies to guys also.
Guys also the same thing.
I have actually received a lot of emails and invitation to make friends with girls. Some come with photos that are very beautiful, which I'm sure it is not them.
Definitely. You can have thousands and millions of beautiful photographs over the net.
Have you been invited, Eric, to make friends with girls over the internet?
A few times, but just ignore them. That's it. You don't need to respond to them.
Yeah, I think that's the best way.
There's nothing much you can do when you just watch online. Okay? So don't run your imagination runs wild. Right? Then we move on to scam number 9.
Also from Nigeria.
Okay. A majority of the population survive and become rich by conning their fellow men. It's an accepted culture there, just like pickpocketing is accepted culture in some parts of China. Onlookers will just look and will not alert the victims. Nigerians will write emails to you telling you their relative is a powerful man in Nigeria and has a lot of money. This money needs to be taken out of the country, and of all the people in the world, you are the lucky selected one whom he can trust with his task. You will be paid a reward of 20% for helping him for this favor. You guess it. You must pay up about 10% first, which is a lot of money. That will be the last you see of him and your money.
So this scam is called Treasure from Nigeria. It seems that there are a lot of rich generals and rich powerful people from Nigeria.
All their corrupted money which need to be surfaced out and smuggled out of the country. And they need some third party non-related people to actually help them to take the money out. And they will write you beautiful letters promising you a lot of benefits.
And they give you certificates and proof their money.
Proof of funds is always there.
It sounds rather same like that black money scam.
Black money is scam. But this one is without effort. They just do some emails and they send it out.
Yeah, that black money, you still need some chemicals and some paper.
You still need some cost. Right? This one practically no cost. And just a few emails, and they send out thousands and millions of emails. Just one or two respond will be good enough.
So guys, next time if somebody tells you he's very rich and he's from Africa, please be careful. Let's move on to our last and scam number 10. It is titled Stranded at the Airport.
Well, an online friends, usually of the opposite sex, you have befriended for some time, suddenly runs into serious trouble and is stranded at the airport in a foreign country.
Remember, Eric, just now when we were talking about some guys trying to make friends with you, probably they are trying to pull off this scam, right?
Yes. So in the first place, they started the friendship, bonding, then gain your trust a bit, get to know you a bit, then they'll give you this subsequent episode.
To make sure you don't have your guard up, you are totally not protected, and
you regarded him as a friend already.
Yes. So and there's nothing he can take away from you, right, as a friend?
Yes. So as a friend for such a long time, usually just a few months, you are obliged to help him. Just bank in a few $100 in US probably, and he will be fine. Unfortunately, after banking in a few hundred, a few more thousands will be required in order to settle his problem. Be kind-hearted can cause you to lose a lot of money.
Yeah. It's good to be kind, but sometimes being kind doesn't mean you have to be silly, right?
Yes. So in this case, you are blindly kind.
But usually the opposite sex is quite,
charming in a way.
Yeah. They'll make you fall in love with them,
Yes, and you will actually let off your guards and you will just bank in whatever money they ask for.
Yes, and once you let down your guard, they'll start asking you for money.
And it did happen quite a number of cases in Malaysia. Right? In fact, those 10 scams that we have mentioned from today's episode and last week's episodes, quite a number of Malaysians actually got caught in all these scams.
Yes. Sometimes, like we talk about the latest scam, if somebody is in trouble, your friend, if a few $100 can save a friend, what's wrong, isn't it?
What's wrong with it? Yes. Because you will treat them as your friend, despite you not knowing them personally, just online, because during the online chat, some can be really get very personal, very caring, and you actually fell for it. So, well, that's life. We just have to be more careful with our life and don't fall into all these traps. So, alright folks, that's all the time we have for now.
Right.
Thank you and hope you enjoy the show. We will be back with more business updates on ASEAN Biz. Stay tuned.
Bye for now.